Can you guys see my screen? I need confirmation, please.
That's how we can see.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that. Okay, yeah. So today we'll be looking at our user research, and then under user research we have surveys and interview. There are a lot of other researches that we can do under user research, but then we'll just be focusing on surveys and interviews today, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Yes. Okay. I'm still trying to gear up. And yeah, today I'll be using the backup. Okay. Soft people. I don't think these people are coming, excluding the admins. I don't think these people are coming. So like I said, we'll be looking at techniques for gathering insights concerning techniques for gathering insights based on the problem you have identified, and then the solution you want to provide. You get. So as a UX designer, as a product designer, yes, that you are training to be. You need to understand you are not just designing as such, like you don't just assume a problem, or you don't just assume a solution and then you design for the solution straight on. Okay, people are finding it hard to an assumption, people are finding it hard to uh order food online, or people are finding it hard to order food. Just say people are finding out to order food. So I think if there's a if there's an app for people to order food online, for people to check food online, it would be better. So let me design an app for that. What do you guys think of that solution? What do you guys think? There's a problem. People find it hard to get. My voice is low. I need confirmation. Is my voice low? Are you sure is my voice?
No, sir.
Like, my
Your
voice is
voice is
low.
fine from. It's
My
fine
voice is
from here.
fine from your hand. I need more confirmation. Tochi said, which one are you saying? Tochi, my voice is low. Or it's fine from your hand.
Yes, your voice is low, sir.
My voice is low. Like seriously. Who else? I need more confirmation. Maybe let me see if I can switch my audio. A moment. And then why I'm trying to switch my audio, I need a volunteer quickly. I was planning on starting with this first before I was being shocked by the attendance. I need volunteer. I need a volunteer. So how many of you have taken courses online before? Like you went online, took course online, take courses online on any subjects. Hello,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
who is that? Alogo. Let me look.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, and then your background is good, right?
My background is good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So can I quickly conduct a simple interview with you? I'll just ask you series some questions, and then you don't worry, they are not hard questions. You get? Are you okay with that?
I hope I'm able to answer them, sir.
Of course, there are no. The thing is, with interviews, there are no negative answers. You get? You need to assure your interviewees that we just want to get their insight concerning the problem you are trying to solve, and then you just need their opinion. I just need your opinion. There are no negative answers. You get? You will not be penalized, or your opinion will not be disregarded, it will be considered. So, are you okay with
Okay,
that?
sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you
Okay,
very
sir.
much. Olamide, is it Olamide? Yeah, yeah. So just keep your mic on mute. So it's just me and you. Olamide con Alogo, right? Yeah. So
Alugo.
Alugo. Did you say
Yes, sir.
Alugo? Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Alugo.
Alugo. Yeah, yeah, I got that. Yeah. So quickly. For the others, just pay attention. I want to demonstrate something, and then you just follow along, and then later I will explain what we're doing here. So over to you, Olamilekon. Let me just call you Lekon for short. You get
Yes, sir. That's fine.
okay. So good afternoon, Lekon. My name is Henry. I'm from Embod Design,
All right.
and
Good afternoon, Mr. Henry.
I'll be conducting a simple interview with you just to get your insight concerning taking courses online. I hope you take courses online. You've taken at least one
Yes,
or
I
two
have.
courses.
Yes, I've
Uh,
taken one or two courses on that.
And then I need to let you know that this interview will be recorded. Hope you're okay with that. The recording is just for us to go back, as in for my team to go back and then check what you have said and then ensure that we did not miss anything based on the questions that we have put together to ask you. Hope you're okay with that.
Yes, I'm fine. I'm okay with it.
So I'll be asking you some series of questions. The questions are divided into three parts. The first is just for me to get to know you better, and then the subsequent sections will be on the solution that we are trying to solve. You get so like I said, the interview is based on people that take courses online, and then the challenges that they face while taking on courses online. So starting my question, can I know you, please? Quickly,
All right.
can we know you?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Henry. I am Olamilekon Alugo. I'm a student of the University of Ilorin, 400 level student studying mathematics, and I'm also a graphic designer. I use mostly I use Photoshop, and so that's just it. Basically, I'm a student studying mathematics, and I'm also a graphic designer.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was interesting to know that you're combining um being a student and then photography together at the same time. So I'd like to know, combining school and then photography, what does your typical day look like being a student,
What
and then
was
what what does your typical day looks like? How does your typical day looks?
uh, a typical day? It depends on what day it is. There are some days that I have loads of work in school to do, and there are some days that probably 2 days of the week that I know I'm free. And but on a normal day, averagely, it's there are always work to do. If I'm not on my books, if I'm not reading, trying to prepare for one mathematics subject or the other, I'll be on the system designing. I'm a graphic designer, not photography. So I'll be
Yeah,
I'll
sorry.
be so I'll be on the system designing artworks and all of those things. So there's always work to do.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I miss that being a graphic designer and then a graphic
Yeah,
designer. Yeah, thank you
yeah.
for in that to me. And then it seems to have a busy weekdays. What about your weekends? What does your weekend looks like?
Well, my weekend also, I combine a lot of things. My weekend sometimes I'll be in church, and also my weekend days, I have students. I have a student I'm taking, a secondary school student I'm taking tutorials.
Okay.
So if I will be at his place in the morning, on Saturday, on Friday to be in the evening, Saturday in the morning, and some other times on Saturday I'll be in church preparing for Sunday. So that's basically how my weekends looks like.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Students, university, a mathematics student, how will you describe your relationship with your lecturers in school?
Being a mathematics student, my relationship with my lecturers, well, I'm the class rep of my level since 100 level, so
Wow.
I have quite a good relationship with my lecturers because I have to interact with them. I have to make schedules with them. Sometimes I have to plead on behalf of students with them. So um, most of the time I'm in their faces. So
Okay. Um, how does that feel being in your lecturer spaces almost all the time?
well, sometimes it's not always funny. You know, we have different kind of lecturers. So sometimes it comes as a burden. There are lecturers, especially in my department. There are a lot of our lecturers are not just friendly, basically. So they are
Mm,
always work. So sometimes, most of the times, you approaching them, you just have to prep yourself. Know that this is what I want to say to this person. This is exactly how I want it to go. This is the thing I am expecting, and this is how I'm going to do it so that it can come this way. And if it goes southways, if it goes southward, and then everybody has to just bear it. So
yeah, thank you very much for that. Quickly, let me go to your hobbies. What do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not working? When you're not doing your graphic designs? When you're not trying to solve the word problem with mathematics, equation, mathematics? What are
all right, I read other books. I love to read. I love to read books generally.
what kind of books do you read?
I have a personal development book. Currently, I'm reading Stephen Covey's book, Principle Centered Leadership, and I read Christian religious book. You know, Kenneth Hagin's books, Kenneth Copeland's books, and personal development books. So
Okay, that's good. That's good. And yeah, um, yeah, you must have taken one or two courses online,
yes,
right? And then, when you want to learn online, where is the first place to go to?
when I want to learn online,
When you want to learn new things online, like you want to learn on a particular subject, either in your
okay.
photography or maybe in your course of study, where do you go to?
Well, I just when I picked interest, whenever I pick interest in a particular course, I just type it on Google. Most of the time, we are Nigerians. We love free things. I just type free course on so topic. You understand, sir? So I just type free this, and then I begin to look into um the list of what Google brings to me, and then sometimes I'll make my choice. But the course that I took is, I think, is on UI UX, though it's just basically theoretical. Um, what I do sometimes also is that I ask people that, okay, if you want to recommend um, a course for me, where would you say I should go? So the last one, someone recommended, a friend recommended that particular platform for me. So if I didn't, if I have to talk to someone, or I just go to Google.
Okay, but are there specific apps or websites that you use most that you can point out to that use this platform most? Is there any or website?
Website, yes, Coursera, and I use Udemy, Coursera and Udemy.
Okay.
Um, yes, so those two.
Yeah. Okay. So the next set of questions, when you're trying to learn things, new things, um, which will you prefer, physical or virtual training?
If when learning new things,
Yeah.
personally,
You might
I prefer physically.
okay. And why is that?
I prefer to learn physically. Maybe it's because I'm a math student. You know, I wouldn't say though, but I prefer to learn physically. It helps me the more when I'm in that particular classroom, hearing what the lecturer is saying, looking at him, it brings more life to the subject being taught, personally. But we are just in the days where things are just being going digital, so we just have to adapt. Just have to adapt too. So, but personally, I prefer physical trainings.
Are there any challenges that come with taking courses with physical class, learning in the physical class that you might
Are there
tend
any
to notice?
challenges
Yeah.
so far? I can't think of any challenge learning physically. I can't think of anyone currently.
Okay. So when was the last time you took a course online?
The last time I took a course online, that was last year.
Last year. Last year when, please?
Around March. It was in March. March. I think, yes. I think it's March. April. March, April.
So do you still remember the experience? What was it like taking the course online?
Yeah, it was a good experience. It was fun. As I said earlier, it was also on UI UX, basically. Although it's theoretical, so I just kept reading, writing, learning all stuff. So it was fun, especially because I believe, because the reason it was more fun is because I love to learn new things. So learning new things on that platform makes it fun to me. So, and I followed through. I finished it.
Yeah. So yeah, you said taking courses online is it was fun for you based on the last time you took a course online, which was last year. And
Yes, yes.
how much are you willing to take more courses online?
Well, based on the last experience and this particular experience, I mean this particular course you are going through, um, I would love to do more online courses too, because I've discovered that it's not bad. It's not bad. Aside the network issues sometimes, where we have network glitches and all of those things, it's also a great platform to learn.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna get to that, which I think it falls under the challenge. So, what are the challenges that comes with taking courses online when you took course online? So, what are
Basically is network glitches. Even some people complain about having to buy data, plenty data, and all of those things. But I used to say that even when you have data, sometimes we are in Nigeria. Even when you have data, sometimes your network can just go bad. That's a major issue in learning online. Even when you have that data, um, your network can just go back. Yesterday, I had data on my phone that I want to use to connect to my system, but I just discovered that my phone was not connecting. I had to go inside. I stay off campus. I had to go inside school, spend about almost 1,000 naira to and fro. That's 600 naira precisely, to and fro school, just to use Wi-Fi inside school. Not because I don't have data on my phone, but network can just go bad.
yeah,
So that's the basic um challenge. It's not really that we can afford to buy data if we really want to, but the network is just poor in some part of the country.
yeah. Are there any other challenges?
The other challenge I would also talk about is um should I say, I don't even know if to say it's a is a challenge. That's power supply. That's power supply. We use electric gadgets, we use phones, we use systems, and you will hear many excuses that says my phone has gone off since my system is off. There's no light, and so that is what is um making me slack, making me do other things. Of course, there could be other things. For instance, last week I could not do my assignment because I just have to face a lot of things. I just have to do a lot of things, projects and all of those things were there. So it was challenging. So, but network and power supply, if those two are solved, um, I believe online learning will be very much more easier.
Yeah. What about platforms? Are there any problem with the online learning platform? Are there any challenges on that?
Um, well, one thing I learned recently is that there is always technology improves. Let me put it that way. Technology has been improving at a radical speed recently. When we were about to start this particular course we are going through, I was thinking it's going to be probably Zoom or something. But when I heard about Jitsi, I've never used it before. So and the experience has been good, really. The experience has been very, very good from my end. Honestly speaking, the experience has been very, very good. It's except when the network goes bad, it's clear. It's faster. Unlike Zoom consumes a lot of data before it could process your this thing, and it could sometimes your audio is slower than your video and all of those things. But all of those are not on this particular platform. So I would say the improve on technology, we just keep moving along with it. So
Okay, yeah. And then talking about features on platforms that you use for your online learning, are there any other particular features that you would like to see on such platforms?
are there any other particular features?
Yeah, that you like to see on.
Uh well, I can't think of any. I can't think of any currently because there is no way we would compare a physical class to an online setting. Thus far, the features I've been
Okay.
using, we can still. There is no way we can bring what is online into our physical world than what I'm saying currently. But so from my hand, I can't think of any. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't think of any.
Yeah, you just mentioned there's no way you can bring online world to the physical. But can it be improved? What do you think can be done to bridge that gap between ensuring that the experience with with physical learning is almost the same as learning online? What do you think can be you, done to improve that, to bridge that gap a little,
What could be done to bridge the gap between an
ensuring that the
online?
yeah.
Uh, let me think. Let me think.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't let us go further. What I just did now is thank you, Lekon, once again. What I just did now is interview. Okay, this we had this question before. We My group actually used it to work on a solution on the this thing online learning. So I have the questions before. It's not as if I was just calling out questions. I was looking at the questions on my screen. So that is how user interview is done. It gets you need to ensure you divide your questions into three major parts. First was bringing in the interviewee. Yes, you
Yeah.
can move to bringing in the interviewee with simple questions about him or herself, like let the interview is settled in first, and then you start going deep into the solution or the problem that you are trying to solve. Now start asking him questions. Based on the questions I asked him on platforms, I asked him on market fit, and then digging deep questions as well. Let me just share my screen so that you guys will not assume I was just so yeah, getting to know you questions. I have the list of questions. I'll be sharing this Google slide with you later. Not this one in particular, but then the original version. And then digging deep questions. So yeah, ask deep questions based on the solution that you are trying to solve, and then market fit questions as well. So and any other kind of questions that you want that you must have prepared You get so that is how a user interview is being conducted. I just feel I should demonstrate that before we go into the class proper, and then yeah, I'll be sharing the slide, the Google Sheet for that too, and then analyzing research as well. We'll go into that. So let's just continue with our slide. So what are user research basically? Like I said at the beginning of this class, you do not just assume or you do not just see a problem and then go on to provide a solution for the problem. You get so user research focus on understanding the user behavior. Who are the users first that you want to provide this that you want to provide this solution for? You need to know this user. In my when before I picked Olamileko, I asked a question: Who has taken online courses before? Those are some of the free survey that you do. You need to know your user. Who are you creating the solution for? First, you don't just assume or you don't just pick randomly. You need to ensure that the people you are interviewing, you get they are the people there are people that faces that challenge and then they need that solution. So like I said, user research focuses on understanding users' behavior, their needs, and then motivation through observation and then feedback. Of course, I asked him series of questions. We'll be asking series of questions, and then he needs to. I'm not sharing my slide. I just I'm not sharing my slide. Okay, yeah. So you ask series of questions and then you need to as an interviewer you need to be patient. You need to give user your interview ample time for them to share all they have as much as possible. You don't interrupt them when they are talking. Yes, so that's what you do through observation. You need to be very observant during I've gone to interview, but then you need to be observant during your research process, be it survey, be it interview. You need to ensure that you get as much information concerning the problem that you are trying to uncover insights on. And then the goal of US research is to prioritize the user's need. What are the users' need? You need to ensure that uh the insight you are getting is mainly on the user's need and not on your assumption. Because if you provide a solution based on your assumption, uh nobody will use it because you are just providing solution for yourself. Unlike when you bring the users in, who are your target users, who are the people that will be using the solution, not just you. You might be among the people that are using the solution, but then basically not just you. You need to ensure that yes, it covers an ample number of people that's which will be acting as your sample for your target user. That's what we call them. We call them samples for your target user because you would not be able to interview everybody. You just need to pick samples from your target users and then ask them or conduct research on the solution based on them. And then the goal of US research is to prioritize the users' need. You need to ensure that users' needs are being considered in the solution you are trying to solve. And also the business side as well. You need to ensure that you meet the business need as well, not just the users. Your business goal as well. The business owners as well. They will be giving you direction on the kind of solution they want. So as a UX designer, as a product designer, you need to ensure that you merge both together. You don't just the solution you provide will not just be based on the business goal, neither will it just be based on the user's need. You need to ensure that you find a common ground. You need to ensure that you find a common ground for both the users need and then the business goal. You need to combine both together. You get so that is the reason why we do UX research, or that's the reason why we conduct the US research, bridging the gap between both. And then there are some research. Basically, US research is basically divided into three parts based on the product life cycle. Does anybody know what the product life cycle is? Let me before I dive into research. Does anybody understand? Can anybody product life cycle? Does anybody want to help us? What does product life cycle means? All right, oh yeah, let's go. Who wants to help us? Product life cycle. Can you guys hear me? I need confirmation either through in chat or just mute your mic. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, you can hear me. So do you want to help us? Product life cycle. What else product life cycle means?
Can I
That,
can I answer?
okay, yeah, Tochi.
Yeah, it's when the project is started to the final to the finishing, like from the definition, from defining the product to brainstorming to ideating to prototyping to testing, I guess.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is what the product cycle actually means. The stages of the products. How do you move from the idea stage when you just have the idea for a particular product to finding information about the product, designing the product, developing the product, and then even through after the product has been launched in the market. So all these stages are what we call the product life cycle. So when it comes to user research even begins before you start generating ideas for the products. It's because research when you on products concerning product life cycle is divided into three major parts: the foundational aspects of the research, which we call the foundational research, and then we have the design research when you start designing or even developing the product. There are some kind of research that you do, and then when the product is out there in the market, there are other kind of research that you do. You get, and then for today's lecture, we'll be looking at uh interviews and surveys, right? Which are and then and surveys are part of the kind of research that you do at the foundational level. You get, so why do you do user research? I said it before, you are not designing for yourself. You need to identify the user's pain points, their preferences, their behaviors as well, which can lead to improving the usability on their products. You get, you need to ensure that the products actually meet the user's need, and then of course higher satisfaction and all that. Those are just additional stuff. But then the major thing is identifying the user's pain point and their preferences. You need to know who your users are, and then it is when you know who your users are that you can know the kind of solution, or that you can know the kind of not just the kind of solution, the kind of experience that you want them to have on your products, that you can actually design the kind of experience that can give them optimal satisfaction why they are using your products. And then how do you know your users? Of course, there are different ways through user interviews, surveys. There are also the focus group. There are different kinds, but then we'll be focusing on user research and then surveys today. And then other importance of user research, of course, it is after you know your users. uncovered more about them, their demographics and all that, that you can be able to actually design a solution that they can easily that can easily be used by them. That's what improve usability means, and then of course higher satisfaction, and then very important, um when you know your users name and then you know the business goal as well, you'll be able to create a product that the market actually need, and then it will reduce so many costs like cost of actually not knowing the kind of solution that you should provide, not knowing the market you are going into, because you must have done another kind of research, market research, competitors analysis and all that. So if you have done all of this before actually designing a solution, instead of you just jumping to designing the solution, you must have conducted all of these kind of researches first. That is why that is how it will uh, help you not to incur losses during for your product you get, because you know the market, you know your users already. So do we have any questions before we move on? And then yeah, so moving on, let's move on to surveys. What are surveys? You get before we move to surveys, research can be divided into different parts, like they are all interwoven. You get, so depending on the kind of insights that you want to get from users, you get the depending on the kind of insights that you want to get from users. And when I'm talking about the kind of users, are you looking for quantitative insights, or are you looking for qualitative insights? Help you guys understand what I mean by that. Hello, can you guys hear me? I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. Are you looking for quantitative insights, or are you looking for qualitative insights? Hope you guys understand that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What does it mean by that? Can you help us?
I think it means that quantitative, it means probably, are you just looking for a large amount of data to combine together? Are you looking for plenty answers that you want to compare and contrast and keep on comparing and contrasting? Or you're looking for qualitative, something that can produce, that can lead you into what exactly you want to do? That's qualitative, that you are looking for quality out of the answers that you have gotten. I believe that's what it means.
Very much, like that is exactly what it means. Thank you very much. So like I said, research can be different and can be divided. User research can be divided into different ways, and there are another way to divide them is based on the kind of insights that you are looking for. Are you looking for insights that can be counted, or numerical insights, like insight that can be counted? You're looking at numbers, basically numbers that you can use to compare based on the solution that you want to provide. You're looking at what is the number of, like you're looking for insights and that can be measured by numbers. Basically, that's what quantitative insight is. Why qualitative insights? You want to go deep into a particular subject matter. So based on that, that is based on either qualitative or quantitative insights. Based on that, that's how the surveys and then the users interview can be divided. So when it comes to surveys will give you quantitative insights, because we'll just be looking at asking questions based on numbers, numerical values, based on things that can be measured. You get to just be sending because you will not even be most times in surveys, either online surveys or sending out questionnaires. Most times you will not even be with the users. Just give them the form to fill or link to the questions to answer. Why users interview, like what I just demonstrated at the beginning of this class. I was with the interview and then I was asking questions based on the problem he gets. And then I was even asking questions that are not listed in my that are not listed based on what the users based on the response of the users he gets. So that was one of the difference between qualitative and then quantitative insights. You get for quantitative insights, you will not be able to ask follow-up questions based on responses from users. Why in a quantitative inside settings, which user interview falls on, you are there, you're always there with the users, and then you're asking them questions. So what are surveys? You get surveys are just a way of gathering information about a particular solution that you are trying to solve. And then what are the advantages of surveys? Of course, with surveys, you'll be able to reach a large number of people. You'll be able to reach a larger audience of people. You get and of course like I have said, you'll be able to get quantifiable data, large amounts of data, and then surveys are easy to analyze. You can easily analyze your surveys after you've gotten your insight, especially if it's an online surveys. If you're using Google Doc asks Google Doc will analyze your surveys for you. Why when to use surveys? Of course, surveys are best for gathering broad broad standardized feedback on users' expectation. What are the users' expectations? Um, what are the users' expectations? Because when to use surveys at the beginning of the product, you're thinking of working on a solution, and then do you need to conduct surveys? And if you decide that you want to conduct survey on the particular solution that you are trying to provide, the way you structure your questions will be different from interviews because you are looking at getting insights based on users' expectations. You get what do they expect, what would be their preferences, which are just wide arrays of data that you can work with. What will be their satisfaction? You get, but then what compared to interview, like examples of questions, rate your satisfaction with this particular product on a scale of 1 to 5. Those are just quantitative insights, or select your preferences from the list. You get, those are something that you can easily measure. So those are uh, user survey, and then why you need to, or when you need to use surveys while working on the product, and uh, some of the advantages of survey. Of course, surveys has its own disadvantages, but then that was not the focus of this particular lecture. One of the disadvantages, of course, we will not be able to get in-depth information or in-depth insights based on the solution that you are trying to work on. So moving on to interviews. Of course, I just demonstrated a simple interview with you. So interviews allow you to dive deeper into the user's needs, their preferences, their behavior. That's where you really get to know the users even more than what you have prepared for. And of course, you'll be able to ask more direct questions. And of course, during interviews, you get to work with the users um, directly. You get, and then Of course, interviews they are rich. They provide a rich and then qualitative insights to complement. Of course, when you're working on a solution, you don't just. It's always advisable to combine both. Like, okay, uh, you've conducted surveys. You've conducted survey. I'm using surveys. I'm using plural. You've conducted survey on a particular solution. You can then complement the survey with interviews. Of course, you sent your survey questions to maybe 60 participants, and then from the 60, you pick maybe 5 to 7 of them to conduct interviews with. Of course, you've gotten your first set of insights from the survey, from the surveys that you conducted. And then digging deep, you can then bring in a few of the participants. Of course, it will be hard to interview 60 people. In short, you will not be able to interview 60 people, especially if you are not starting out or if you have a startup, you get. But then for larger companies, they can decide to interview as many people as they want. But then, if you're a startup, you're just starting out, or you are just working with a small team, it would be almost impossible to interview 60 people. But then with surveys, you'll be able to conduct your research with them. You'll be able to ask questions. The only uh, drawback will be the nature of the question and then the kind of insights that you are looking to get. And then the advantages of user interview, of course, you'll be able to get in-depth understanding, ability to explore deeper into complex issues, and then you're able to have direct engagement with uh, your interview based on the solution that you are trying to provide. You get, and then when do you use uh, interviews? Interviews are best for understanding users' pain points. Of course, you'll be able to dive deep. You'll be able to understand their pain points, their workflows, and then how they make decisions. You get, and then if you recall some of the questions that are asked later during my sample interview with him, I was like, what does your typical day look like? You get just to understand uh their day, you get, and then what insight can I draw from that that can help me while working on the solution online or the challenges that users face while taking courses online. Yeah. So what does your typical day looks like? You get they're always busy during the day, you get. So what insights can I get uh what insight can I get from that that can help me to ideate better solution for the product that I'm trying to provide or that I'm trying to design. And then some of the other questions, what are the biggest challenges that you face when using a product and all that you get. Um in surveys, you will not be able to ask this question because just imagine me asking this kind of question, what are the biggest challenges that you face when using these products in a survey? You get it will require um a deep explanation, a long kind of explanation that even some users will see and then they will ignore. So you need to be careful and then you need to be wise when putting out survey question when preparing survey questions. Yes, you need to be you need to be wise. You need to ensure that the questions that you'll be asking during surveys, those are questions that users can easily answer, questions that users can easily respond to. You don't want users to start explaining in a survey. First, it's better to questions in surveys should always be questions that you can compare, contrast, you can measure, you get those are best. So you need to ensure that when preparing um surveys for any product that you are working on, you need to ensure that those questions will not are not questions that users can will just easily ignore because it will require them to start typing long text trying to explain something. Those questions that require explanation are better in user interview. So you need to be conscious of that. And then of course in preparing for user interview you need to ensure of course some of the things I did, I need to ensure either he has a good background to talk, he's in a comfortable place to talk, and me also, I also my background is devoid of any kind of disturbance and then background noises as well. And then first, I need to ensure that my interviewee are comfortable. They are free to talk. You get, and then I need to me as the interviewer, I need to be patient. I need to uh be an active listener. You get, I need to be patient. I don't need to interrupt the interview, while they are talking. Even after they must have finished talking at a particular point, I still need to wait for a little time to see if they would come up with other things you get. So those are some of the things that you need to take note of. You don't just rush in and then move to the next question. Just give them ample time to give out as much information as they can. And of course, like I said at the beginning, you need to let the user know that you'll be recording, and then the information that they will be providing is just to improve the product that you're looking for insight, and then not for anything else. So moving on to surveys and interview, which should you use? Of course, I've said it before. They should complement each other. You get and then which should you use first? That depends on you, and then the kind of insights that you have gotten. You must have conducted interviews first with few people, and then you feel the insights are not enough. How do you complement it? You might then use a survey, and then you might have conducted surveys before, and then you are looking for deeper insights into users' responses, and then you conduct your interview. You get so they are both they're better used together. You get, not just you deciding to either use one or the other. You get but then it will always depend on your budget. You get, and then how much time do you have, and then the insight as well, not just your budget. How much time do you have for during the design process? You get, if you have more time, you can do your survey, you can conduct your interview, and then analyze them, which we will get to. And then if you don't have much time like that, and then you feel you've gotten sufficient insights, then you can just use either your survey or your interview. You get, so that is how that goes. So it's not as if it must either be survey interview. You can use either or both depending on the insights that you have gotten. So how do you analyze survey? Let me share my screen. Let me share another part of my window. In analyzing survey, of course, let me share this one here. In analyzing survey, there are different ways that you can analyze survey. Okay, let me use this one first. Let me share this screen. So first, okay, this is not for survey, sorry. This is for interview. Okay, yeah, this is for interview. But then in analyzing survey, it is better you use tools that can do the analysis themselves, and then give you a summary of the of your survey. You get if you are using a Google Doc, uh, Google Doc will always do the analysis of the responses from users. You get it will always analyze their responses and then give it to you at the end. You can always check that if you're using did I say Google Doc? If you're using a Google form, sorry, if you're using a Google form, right, it will always analyze the survey for you, and then you get. But then, for interviews, how can you analyze interviews? I said I will be sharing this slide for you. It's going. This is the where is it? The original version. For interviews, to there are two ways to analyze insights from interviews. My screen is off, right? Let me share my screen back. There are two ways to analyze insights from interview. The first one is the affinity map. You get with the affinity map. What you do is you enter the responses from the user. You just summarize their responses based on the questions that you have asked. For example, on this one, I have five users, right? This is the first user, this is the second user, this is the third user, this is the fourth, and then this is the fifth. So, the questions that I ask them, their responses, just their responses on the question, I enter them one after the other. It gets for each user their responses, and then after I've entered their responses, I begin to find patterns. What are they talking about? What are there similarities in the things that they are talking about? So that is how you use affinity map to analyze or survey. You look for patterns. You get for this product. Well, I think it's a food app, and then we're looking at what are the patterns, the navigation on the product, the reordering. They are saying the same thing, or they are saying something similar. It gets. So that is how you analyze interviews for your user interviews for your user interviews. So this is how you analyze the insights or the data you've gotten from user interview. First, you enter their responses first, you get, and then after you've entered their responses, you begin to find similarities. We call them patterns. You begin to find patterns in the responses. What are the similarities in the responses that you've gotten? You get, so that is one way to do that. And then the other way, if you are using the Google Sheets, you get, if you are using the Google Sheets, I'll be sharing this with you. The first is to enter the questions that you want to ask the users. You get, and then after you enter the question, check the questions that you want. You get, there are so many questions here, and then this is a template as well, and then this is the template, and so you need to check the questions that you want to ask the user. So after you've checked the questions, you go to the next slide, and then only the questions that you checked will appear here on this side first. Hope you guys get. So only the questions that you checked on the interview questions, only the questions that you checked here. This is the first question. Tell me about your role at work or as a student. Yeah. So you see, tell me about your role at work as a student. If I uncheck it here, it will be unchecked. Yeah, it will not appear here. But since I have the response here, I don't want to uncheck that. Okay, let me go and check another question. Okay, the second one. Tell me about your team. Tell me about the team you work on. Let me check it now. So I just checked that now. So let's go back to the next slide. Tell me about the team you work on. It wasn't here before, but since I checked it here, it's appearing and then taking space for something else. So let me just uncheck that. So that is how that works. So after you've done that, that's the first step. And then their responses on that note, you enter their responses here. And and of course, you need to fill in the information about the yourself, which the interviewer, and then the participants who you are interviewing here. You need to fill in that information just to know who is the interviewer, who are the interviewer, and then who did you interview. So their response is based on the questions that you have asked for each users. You need to enter them here. You get for each user you need to use different slides. So this is for one user. This slide is for one user. The next, yeah.